Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaurkishore dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja ki jai. Tatiya Shubha Tīrobhāv tithi ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashitara Shitashman Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimar Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashitara Shitashman Srila Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Tatiya Shubha Tīrobhāv tithi ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Gosai Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Gosai Maharaj ki jai. All the associates and followers of Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Shri Baladev Vijibhushan Prabhu ki jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Trai ki jai. Jai Śrī Rasikānanda Prabhu ki jai. Tatiya Shubha Tīrobhāv tithi ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, sorry, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosai Pad ki jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath, Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parashad Vrinda ki jai. Naam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय. सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जाय. श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय. श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय. श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय. श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय. श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय. श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय. जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. The Tīrobhāv tithi of Rasikananda Prabhu, Śrīla Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja and Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Tithi palan kari bhakta vrinda ki jai. Shri Hari Naam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna everybody. Dandavat pranams. Champak Mataji, Rukmini Didi, Krishna Mai Didi, and Satya Mataji. Hari Bo. And on YouTube and Facebook, I see Madhusudan Prabhu and Vidyalala Sadidi. Hare Krishna. All so today we will be on this very auspicious day. We will be reading from this beautiful book. This book is absolute gold by Srila Bhakti Ballabha Tirtha Gosai Maharaj. We'll read about these three personalities. And you can get this book now, a revised edition, which is much more accurate, much closer to the Bengali. You can get it on Amazon, the Kindle book. Or if you come to India, this is very cheap now. I got this for 600 rupees. Maybe I got a special price though, I don't know, because I got it. But anyways, it's still a lot cheaper than it used to be. So, yes. Oh yeah, I found out this morning from Satya Mataji that it's daylight savings. Wait, is it daylight savings? It's now later, right? Anyways, it's now 1 hour later for those of you in America. I know that's not very, that's for Krishnamaya Didi, that's really late. So I'll try to keep this shorter now. Because I don't want you to have to stay up way too late. But let's just jump into it. All right. Haribol, Haripriya Didi, and Indira Mataji, Haribol. Okay, so yeah, this is the Kindle book from Amazon that we're reading from. Oh, dang it, I lost it. Let's find it. Śrī Caitanya. Caitanya. And dang it. Sorry. I need to organize these books. Sorry, I haven't, this new layout, I'm not used to it. I think it would be in uncollected. Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. Oh, Haribol, Charu Didi, and Kishore Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay, so Jai Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tirtha Goswami Mahārāj ki Jai. I guess we'll go in order from we'll end with Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Goswami Mahārāj. So where is Rasikānanda Prabhu? He'll be after Shyamananda Prabhu, I'm guessing. Yes, after Shyamananda. Okay. Śrīla Rasikānanda Deva Goswami. Śrīla Rasikānanda Deva Goswami was born in 1512 of the Shaka era, which is 1591 AD, in the village of Rohini or Raini in the Medinipur district. This village is situated at the confluence of the Subarna Reka and Dolanga rivers. His father's name was Raja Achyutananda and his mother Bhavani Devi. The Subarna Reka River crosses back and forth across the present-day Bengal-Odisha border. The Medinipur district used to be part of the Oriya kingdom, Orishan kingdom. That's not a word, right? Orishan? Oriya kingdom. Maybe it is. Raja Achyutananda was whatever. Raja Achyutananda was I'm just going to say an Oriya of the Karan caste, the equivalent of the Kayashtas in Bengal. Okay. A Vaishnava is beyond the material qualities and should not be judged in terms of his caste origins. Raja Achyutananda and Rasikānanda were born in the Karana caste in order to bless it. We can assume that Rasikānanda Deva Goswami was a female servitor belonging to the conjugal loving mood in Krishna Lila. Though his spiritual master, Shyamananda Prabhu, had himself been initiated by Hriday Chaitanya Goswami, who worshipped the Lord in the mood of friendship, he later took shelter of the conjugal mood due to the association of Jiva Goswami. Shyamananda Prabhu thus initiated Rasikānanda into the worship of Radha and Krishna. Rasikānanda was also known by the name Rasik Murari. In Prem Vilas, chapter 20, I guess, it is written that Shyamananda Prabhu had two principal disciples, one named Rasika, or maybe verse 20. Yeah, one named Rasikānanda and the other Murari, both of whom lived in Raini, and whose glories are sung by everyone in Odisha. But Narahari Chakravarti indicates clearly in Bhakti Ratnakar that both names refer to the same individual. He says in Bhakti Ratnakar 15 verses 27 to 28, in the village of Raini lived the famous son of Achyutananda. He had two names, Rasikānanda and Murari. Thus, he was also known as Rasika Murari. He became learned in the scriptures in his childhood. We learn from the Bhakti Ratnakar that when the son of King Dasharath Lord Ramachandra was exiled from Ayodhya, he spent some time with Lakshman and Sita in the village of Parajita, not far from Raini. He there established the Shiva Linga named Rameshwar. Achyutananda was a benevolent landowner who strictly followed religious principles and took good care of his subjects. His wife also had a good reputation as a faithful and loyal wife. Rasika Murari served his parents very expertly, bringing them much satisfaction. Bhakti Ratnakar also notes that he had a devoted wife named Ichamai Devi or Icha Devi from the village of Ghantashila. This village also has a certain history as a place where the Pandavas stayed during their exile. It was in this village that Rasika Murari first met his guru and received his grace, an event that has been elaborately described in the Bhakti Ratnakar. So now we'll read that pastime. Rasika Murari meets Shyamananda Prabhu. One day, while in Kantashila, Rasika Murari was anxious to find a spiritual master and went to a solitary place to meditate. He had just entered into a very deep trance when he heard a voice from an unseen source say, "Murari, you need to be anxious no longer. Your guru is Shyamananda, and you will meet him very shortly. Take shelter of him, and your life will be successful." Interesting. Upon hearing this divine message, Murari began chanting the name of Shyamananda with joyful enthusiasm. He spent the entire night crying out of eager expectation to meet his guru, until finally, at the end of the night, he had a dream vision of Shyamananda Prabhu, who said to him, "Don't worry any longer, for you will meet me this very day." At dawn, Rasika Murari was on the lookout for his guru when he saw the tall figure of Shyamananda Prabhu approaching him, as effulgent as the sun. Surrounded by disciples like Kishore Das, he was dancing in a state of absorption in divine love while chanting, "Ha Krishna Chaitanya, Ha Nityananda." Rasika Murari had been waiting anxiously for so long to encounter his guru that he immediately fell down at his feet. Shyamananda Prabhu affectionately lifted him up, embraced him, and drenched him with tears. Then, after giving him the Radha Krishna mantra, he offered him up to Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhus. This whole event reveals how we can find the Guru through sincere prayers. Hari Bol Pradyumna Prabhu and Mantramurti Mataji. Rasikananda becomes a potent preacher. Rasikananda Dev Goswāmī fully committed himself in body, mind, and soul to the service of his guru. Indeed, he served him so well that in a short time he was recognized as Shyamananda Prabhu's chief disciple, a very powerful preacher, and Acharya himself. In fact, it is a truism that a good disciple becomes a good teacher. A spiritual master may have innumerable followers who call him their guru, but they are disciples in name only. Only a true disciple who has dedicated himself completely to his spiritual master is imbued with all the powers of the guru. Shyamananda Prabhu invested Rasikananda Dev with such spiritual powers that he was able to convert many criminals, atheists, Muslims, and other fallen souls to the path of devotion, bestowing the jewel of prem upon them all. On one occasion, a wicked Muslim tried to silence Rasika Murari by having him attacked by an intoxicated elephant. But Rasikananda Prabhu was able to transform even the elephant into a disciple and engage him in the service of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. Actually, I think the place where that happened is at Kirchor Gopinath. If I remember correctly, there is like a big, there's like an enclosed area there, and yeah, I think that's where that happened. I might be wrong. I think there's a picture. I can't. So all who witnessed this amazing event were overwhelmed with astonishment at Rasika Murari's spiritual power. And the evil Muslim Zamindar himself came and surrendered to him. He transforms the elephant into a disciple and engaged him in the service of the Vishnu and of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. Shyamananda Prabhu turned the service of his personal Govinda deity in Gopi Vallabhapur over to Rasikananda. He delivered unlimited living beings without any consideration of their caste or religious background. He preached in every village, accompanied by his disciples, thus delivering innumerable living beings. He remained constantly intoxicated in Harinam Sankirtan. This is all a quote from Bhakti Ratnakar, this paragraph. Who will not be overcome with emotion on reciting his virtues? Same chapter, chapter 15, verses 81 to 86. 1 second, just have to sneeze. Okay. The Prem Vilas corroborates this account in the 19th chapter. He delivered many criminals and Muslims. The Raj of Mayurbhanj, Vaidyanath Bhanja Gajapati, the Zamindar of Patashpur, the Zamindar of Patashpur, Chandrabhanu, the Raj of Mainar, Hari Narayan, the Raj of Pancheta, Shri Bhima, and Shrikar, the Zamindar of Dharenda, Ahmed Beg, the son-in-law of Ibrahim Khan, and the governor of Odisha were all attracted to the transcendental power of Rasikananda Prabhu and became his disciples. Interesting. Ahmed Beg and the son-in-law of Ibrahim Khan. Rasikananda Dev Goswami wrote Shamananda Shatak, Bhakta Bhagavatashtakam, and Kunjakeli Dwadashaka. Rasikananda Prabhu met Shamananda Prabhu after a long gap when the latter arrived from Ban Vishnupur and stayed in Nrsinghapur. Rasikananda Prabhu and all others extremely rejoiced at having their Guru's audience. Bhakti Ratnakar, chapter 9, verses 256 to 258, describes this event. Shamananda Prabhu, accompanied with many disciples, went to Odisha from Ban Vishnupur for a few days. As soon as the news spread, everyone rushed to have his audience. Rasikananda and others were extremely pleased to see Shamananda Prabhu in Nrsinghapur. Oh, Haribo Mayuri. Hare Krishna. Shamananda Prabhu put on a large festival at Dharenda with Rasik Murari and Damodar that is still remembered today by his descendants. Rasikananda's disappearance. It is said that just prior to Rasikananda Dev Goswami's disappearance, he went with 7 of his disciples to a village named Bansdaha near Jaleshwar. Mahaprabhu passed through this village when he was traveling to Puri with Nityananda Prabhu. This is from Chaitanya Bhagavad Antyakanda, chapter 2. That's, Rasikananda Dev Goswami and his disciples walked from there to Remuna, chanting kirtan the whole way. When they arrived in the courtyard of the famous Kirchor Gopinath temple, Rasikananda Prabhu suddenly merged into the Gopinath deity. Wow. His disciples also left their bodies in the same place. Rasika Murari's flower samadhi and those of his 7 associates are still maintained in the courtyard of the Kirchor Gopinath temple. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. I guess that's not where the elephant thing happened. Maybe it is, but yeah, that's where samadhi is. An annual festival lasting 12 days is held in Remuna to celebrate his disappearance. This takes place starting from the day after Shiva Chaturdashi in the month of Magh. Vishwambharananda Dev Goswami, the author of the celebrated Astikya Darshan, was Rasikānanda Dev Goswami's descendant. Wow. That's amazing though, huh? He entered into the body of Kirchor Gopinath. All right. So, Jai Śrī Rasikānanda Prabhu ki Jai. Oh, Satya Mataji raised their hands. Yes.
Yeah, so at Radha Sham Sundar there in the old city of Vrindavan, they excavated a cave when they were doing some construction. And so this cave is where Shamananda and Rasikananda would go when it was hot. They lived in this cave way down. There are stairs that go down. And down there are murtis of Shamananda and Rasikananda, both down there in that cave. It's very inspiring. It's so cool.
I just missed the first part. What you said, where was it exactly, the cave?
Oh, at Radhasham Sundar, there in the old part of
at
Vrindavan.
Oh yes, I've heard about that actually.
Oh, it's
I've never seen it, but I've just heard about it.
Oh gosh, you have to go. You have to ask. You have to ask.
Okay, yeah, it's not like it's not easy, like it's not open to the public, is it? Is it like you need okay.
No, like I made a donation and I was talking and I said, "Oh, what about this cave?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, let me take you there." And so it's over by the stage. They constructed a whole new stage off to the side, and the entrance is near there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Exciting.
Yeah,
I'm excited to go back to Vrindavan now.
Yeah, exactly. You put that on your list of things to do when you go. Absolutely.
Totally doing that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
Wow. That's funny. I lived there for so long, and I've been to Radhasham Sundar many times, and I still have never done that. Hare Krishna Shubhananda. All right, so now we're going to read about Śrīla Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja. Let's find it there. Gauravirbhava bhumistvam nirdeshta sajjana priya Vaishnava sarvabhauma Śrī Jagannāthāya te namaha. I offer my obeisances to Śrī Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, who is adored by the Vaishnav community as a perfect realized one, who is dear to all the Vaishnavas, and who is the foremost Vaishnav. He's Vaishnav Sarvabhauma. Vaishnav. Through your divine vision, you designated the place where Mahaprabhu appeared in this world. Jagannātha Dasa's position in the disciplic succession. Throughout the world, any devotee who comes in the disciplic succession following Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur daily remembers Śrī Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja and prays for his mercy. Oh, and Dita Mataji is saying, I've been in the cave, used to be open all the time for everyone, but not anymore. Okay, now it's not open for everybody. Okay. Okay, so Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur daily remembers Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja and prays for his mercy. Vishwanatha Bhakta Satta Baladeva Jagannātha Tar Priya Shivakti Vinoda Mahabhagavata Vara Shri Gaura Kishora Vara Hari Bhajanete Jarmora Shivarshabhana Vivara Sada Sevya Seva Para Tar Dayita dāsa Nama. I offer respects to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur along with his devotees, to Baladev Vijibhushan, and to Śrī Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, whose dear disciple is Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and to Śrī Gaura-Kishora dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, the great devotee, whose great pleasure is the worship of the Lord. Radharani is the daughter of King Vrishabhanu and is always fixed in the service to her Lord. I am the servant of him who is dear to her. There's also a Sanskrit version of the disciplic succession where Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja is mentioned in the following way. Vaishnava Sarvabhauma. No, I don't know how to sing this. Anyways, I'm just going to say it. Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Śrī Jagannātha Prabhustata Śrī Mayapura Dhamnastu Nirdeshta Sajana Priya. Next in the line is Jagannātha Prabhu, known as Vaishnav Sarvabhauma. Very dear to the saintly, he designated Śrī Mayapur Dham. There were 4 dark ages in the history of the Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage. 4 dark ages. Wow, that's interesting. I always thought it was just 3. Let's see what they are. Okay, the first dark age in our Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage was preceding the appearance of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, yeah, we see that with Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur, right? Like so many places he's it was a very rough time after the time of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Then 2, following the disappearance of the 6 Goswāmīs. Then 3, after the disappearance of Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamananda Prabhu, and Rasikananda Dev Goswāmī. And 4, following the disappearance of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vijayabhushan Prabhu. Okay, so these are the 4 dark ages from the time of Mahaprabhu. After Mahaprabhu, after the 6 Goswāmīs, after the Prabhu Trai and Rasikananda Dev Goswāmī, and after Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vijayabhushan. 4 dark pages. One should not think that the Madhva Gaudiya disciplic succession following in the spirit of Rupa Goswami has been disrupted on account of these periods of darkness. Sometimes spiritual masters in the disciplic succession are individual performers of solitary bhajan, viviktanandis, and sometimes preachers who delight in increasing the size of the congregation, goshtyanandis. Yes, so there's always a pure devotee. There's always a completely, but sometimes they manifest themselves and they'll preach, and sometimes they'll just be doing solitary bhajan. But there's always a Mahabhagavat on the planet, a perfect Mahabhagavat. To the untrained eye, it seems that one can measure the strength of an acharya by the number of disciples he makes. But this is not an appropriate criterion for judgment. Baladev Vijayabhushan Prabhu's disciple was Uddhav Das, or Uddharan Das. This Vaishnav had a disciple also named Uddhva Das, who gave the renounced order to Madhusudan Das. This Madhusudan Das Bābājī was famous throughout the Vaishnav world as the Siddha Madhusudan Das Bābājī from Suryakund. Madhusudan Das Bābājī gave the Paramahansa Vesh Bābājī initiation to Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur wrote, all of these Vaishnavas adopted the lifestyle of the Paramahansa, preaching the path of pure devotion by their example. They are thus the objects of the greatest faith and reverence in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. From this statement of Srila Prabhupada, we learn that all these bhajananandis not only practiced the anchorite life of solitary worship, but engaged in preaching activities as well, serving as acharyas. Bābājī Mahārāja's life in Vrindavan. Hari Bol Vangsi Wala Prabhu. Okay. Bābājī Mahārāja was born in a respectable family in the Tangail district in what is today Bangladesh in around 1780 AD. According to some people, he was born into a family of Virendra Kayastas in Taras village in the Pabna district. The name of his parents are unknown. After taking Paramahansa Vesh, Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī set the exemplary standard of intense bhajan in Navadvip and Vrindavan. So much so that he was accepted by all the Bhajananandi Vaishnavas as their leader. He remained in this world for more than a century. Bābājī Mahārāj performed loving service to Śrī Radha Krishna during the 8 periods in a day, following the path of Rupanuga devotees, while staying in Radha Kund. On one occasion, when he was engaged in bhajan and vraj with other bhajananandi Vaishnavas, a certain professional speaker of the Bhagavat from Katwa decided to move to Vrindavan to make his living, looking for gold and glory. Even though he gave an excellent discourse on the Bhagavat, the renounced Vaishnavas showed no enthusiasm for them. When he inquired into the reasons for this, Bābājī Mahārāj and the other Vaishnavas told him, any discourse on the Bhagavat by someone who has other goals in mind cannot be called a true explanation of the Bhagavat. His words can have no beneficial effect on anyone, not even himself. Indeed, such discourses have a negative effect on the consciousness of the listener. The Vaishnavas led by Bābājī Mahārāj thus advised the professional speaker to give up the business of giving Bhagavat discourses as a means of making his living. By their grace, this money-minded Vaishnava was completely transformed, and he gave up his false pride in his learning and high birth. He became a great devotee with such humility that he paid prostrated obeisances to every creature living in the holy Dham. Bābājī Mahārāj was himself a dedicated and intense bhajananandi, but he did not believe that disciples who were unqualified and filled with material desires should be allowed to act in ways detrimental to the service of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas on the pretext of engaging in the service of the holy name. He engaged his less qualified disciples who had taken the renounced order and working in the garden next to his cottage so that he could offer vegetables to the deity and the Vaishnavas. If the senses are not engaged in the service of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, one does not develop the qualifications necessary to chant properly. One does not develop the qualifications necessary to chant properly, and it is impossible to experience the power of the holy name. When an individual engages the senses and sense objects in relation to the body and bodily reactions, then attachment for these naturally arises. When we are fixed in the consciousness that our very self, including our body and senses, belong to the Lord, and we engage in our senses in the service of the Lord and his devotees, then our feelings of love and possessiveness for him increase. For the Lord increase. On this topic, there's something really nice from my Param Gurudev. He gave a quote from Śrīla Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī. Let me just find it. Take a second. Resources, Rays of the Harmonist. I think it's 2006. No, 2005. Yeah, it's this one. Let's open this with preview. One second. This here. So this is my Param Gurudev quoting Śrīla Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, some instructions from him. 1. Do not develop laziness on the pretext of performing solitary bhajan. 2. It is more beneficial to cultivate fields and water cultivate fields and water plants for the service of the Vaishnavas than to inattentively pull beads hundreds of thousands of times. The result of serving the Vaishnavas is genuine taste for the holy name. 3. Do not imitate the Vaishnavas, or you will burn to death. Pray to serve them without duplicity. 4. An ordinary thief may someday attain auspiciousness, but a person who enjoys the wealth of Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas can never attain it. 5. To serve under guidance is the highest virtuous conduct. Independence is immorality. 6. Artificial remembrance is not the way of the Rupanugas or followers of Srila Rupa Gosvāmī. 7. Spontaneous remembrance by means of Sri Nam Kirtan is the only aim of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Right. Jai Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja ki Jai. Okay, so meeting Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? That's where we are. Yeah. Bābājī Mahārāja meets Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur met Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja for the first time in 1880. Oh, sorry, I haven't been seeing the comments. I just noticed there's a bunch of comments in the chat here. Oh, Shubhananda, you want me to share those quotes? I'll have to OCR them though, because it's not it's not copyable. It's just this is a picture. I'll see if I can get around to it. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur met Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja for the first time in 1880 AD. Their second meeting took place in the village of Amlajora in the Burdwan district in 1891. On this occasion, they spent the entire night on Ekadashi day discussing the topics of Gaura Krishna. Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja encouraged Bhaktivinoda Thakur to preach Gaura's name and abode. Thakur Bhaktivinoda gave an account of this eventful night in his Sajan Toshini magazine. Interesting. He said, after spending the whole night in the Ekadashi vigil, I don't know what vigil means, a period for keeping awake during the time usually spent asleep, especially to keep watch or pray. Okay. So after spending the whole night in the Ekadashi vigil, people from the entire village gathered together at 8 a.m. to go to the Nagara Sankirtan through its streets. Okay, staying up at night, similar to a fast but from sleep. Cool. New word for me. So the people from the entire village, they gathered together at 8 a.m. to go on the Nagara Sankirtan through its streets. Placing the Venerable Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja at the head of the group, they made their way to the Prapanashram. It is impossible to describe Bābājī Mahārāja's ecstatic transformations during this kirtan. Though he is over 100 years old, he dances like a lion, sometimes singing out the couplet, Nitai ki naame nichere. Oh, wow, that's great. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has a song in Gitavali. Nitai ki naame nechere, name neche name hate, shraddhamule nam dite chere. What divine name is this that Nitai, what divine name is this that Nitai has brought? He has brought the name to the marketplace and is distributing it for the price of faith. Cool, maybe we can sing this song at the end. As Bābājī Mahārāja sang, he cried and fell to the ground in ecstasy. I then saw something transpire, which I had never seen before. All present were affected by his mood. Their eyes filled with tears, and their hairs stood on end. And even though they could barely sing, they remained absorbed in the kirtan and danced wildly. Wow. What an amazing description. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also written about Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja in his autobiography. He wrote, in 1892, Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja and many other Vaishnavas participated in the Sankirtan festival in Godrum and then in Sri Mayapur. In the month of Magh in 1299 of the Bengali calendar, Bābājī Mahārāja came from Kulia Navadip with his associates to my residence, Surabhikunj in Godrumadweep. A great Sankirtan festival was held there on Wednesday, the 27th of Magh. Bābājī Mahārāja designates Mahaprabhu's birth site. Dandavat pranams, Sajan Maharaj. Hare Krishna. A physically powerful Brajvasi named Bihari Das Babaji was Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja's personal servant. He used to place Bābājī Mahārāja in a large wicker basket and carry him from place to place. There's a picture, I've seen pictures of him with a wicker basket on his head. Even though Bābājī Mahārāja was very aged, his sight was still good. His eyelids drooped, however, covering his eyes, and he had to lift them in order to see. It is said that when Bihari Das Babaji carried Bābājī Mahārāja in the wicker basket to the birthplace of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Bābājī Mahārāja got out the basket and Bābājī Mahārāja Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja got out of the basket and began to dance madly, singing the names, Jai Sachinandan, Gaur Hari. Everyone was amazed to see the old Bābājī dance in this way. Through his divine vision, Bābājī Mahārāja pointed out the site of Mahaprabhu's birth, and then later, Kol Bangar Danga, the site where the Kazi broke a mridanga, that is, Śrī Rasikānanda. Oh wow, so it wasn't just Mahaprabhu's birth site, but also Śrī Rasikānanda. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has described these events in Sajantoshini, 4th Kanda, page 234 to 235, as follows. At 11 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, the 20th of Falgun, in 1299 of the Bengali era, that's 1892 AD, devotees filled 3 boats on the west bank of the Ganga in Navadvip town. Mahendra Babu, a well-known devotee, brought them from the western bank. The great devotee Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja was carried in a palanquin. By the time the party reached Mayapur, it was impossible to count the number of people who had gathered. Śrī Dwarika Babu and a party of devotees carrying colorful flags were waiting for the renounced Vaishnavas with a joyous kirtan at Mahaprabhu's birthplace. When all these devotees had gathered in the raised area where Mahaprabhu was born and started to dance, it was such a wondrous sight as had likely not been seen in Navadvip Dham for nearly 400 years, since the time of Mahaprabhu. Later, the devotees sat down and after discussing the matter, decided that that deity service should be established both at the birthplace and at Śrī Rasikānanda. Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja proposed that Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi should be worshipped in one building, and Mahaprabhu with Lakshmi Devi and Vishnupriya standing on his either side in another. Wow, so he gave the instructions how it's set up right now at Yogapit. On the other hand, deities of the Panchatattva should be consecrated in Śrī Rasikānanda. I didn't know that he was so involved. In those days, there was a large Kadamba tree at the birth site in Mayapur. Bābājī Mahārāja came and danced under this tree. Śrī Gaurkishore dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja used to sit under that tree, chanting the holy name in a deep trance. Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja spent many years in a cottage in Kuladweep named Bhajan Kutir. This is where Bābājī Mahārāja's samadhi is now situated. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a concrete veranda built for this cottage. Oh yes, you can see it now. It's right when you enter in. Yeah, I just went there recently, actually, just a few days ago. My Sanskrit teacher. Bābājī Mahārāja in Kolkata. Bābājī Mahārāja also came to visit Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his house, Bhakti Bhavan, in Rambagan in Kolkata. I have been to that house twice, but never went inside. There he also met Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Thakur, upon whom he showered unlimited affection. When he learned that Saraswati Thakur was an expert in astrology, he asked him to publish an almanac based on the Vaishnava Siddhanta. Later, Srila Prabhupada published Navadvip Panjika from the Caitanya Math. Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj mentions this over and over and over again, how Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja ordered Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada to publish the Vaishnava Panjika. So it's because of Srila Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja that we have all these tithis throughout the year. This is his instruction. Though Bābājī Mahārāja would not allow anyone to take his photograph, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was able to arrange to have one taken when he came to visit Bhakti Bhavan. It shows Bābājī Mahārāja sitting on a wooden seat with his worshipable Giridhari deity on his chest. If Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had not done this, we would be eternally deprived of knowing what Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja looked like. Bābājī Mahārāja deeply loved Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We have heard that he later gave his Giridhari to Bhaktivinoda, and that this deity is still being served in Bhakti Bhavan. Uh-oh, we got to see this. A friend of mine in who lives in Kolkata, he managed to go inside. He actually tried to take me one time and they didn't allow us. But let me just see if he sent it in my email. Let me just try to find it. Bhakti Bhavan. No, what is it? What would be a name? Kurma, maybe. No, what's his name? Ras Bihari. Let's see. Ras Bihari. Dang it. He sent me a bunch of pictures he took there. Oh, maybe he spells his name like that. No, dang it. Anyways, if I find it, I will share it with you. Okay, Bābājī Mahārāja's disappearance. When approaching the end of his sojourn in this world, Bābājī Mahārāja became hunched and tiny looking. Nevertheless, when he danced in kirtan in a divine intoxicated state, he appeared to his full height of 6 feet. When absorbed in the ecstatic mood of kirtan, he would sometimes jump 5 or 6 feet into the air. With his tall figure and long arms, he made people think of Mahaprabhu. Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja's disappearance took place on the Shukla Pratipad of the month of Falgun, Monday, February 25th, 1895. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote 1895. Okay, never mind. So I missed the centennial then, right? Yeah. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote of it in Sajantoshini, year 2, page 2. At 10 o'clock in the morning of the 14th of Falgun in 1301 of the Bengali era, in the Bhajan Kutir in Koladweep in Navadvip town, the old general of the Vaishnavas went to his eternal abode. Siddha Babaji Mahashaya went to the spiritual world, leaving this world in darkness. Our mundane eyes will no longer be able to see his ecstatic dancing in kirtan. May he bestow his blessings on us from his place in the eternal abode. Ras Bihari Goswāmī of Puraniya in the Burdwan district was Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja's initiated disciple. Ras Bihari Goswāmī initiated the independent king of Tripura, Raja Ishana Chandra Manikya Bahadur. Ras Bihari Goswami's deity, Ras Bihariju, is worshipped to this day in the Raja's palace. Oh, great. I didn't realize this is already translated. We're going to be adding this Śrīla Jagannātha Ashtakam in the Gaudiya Gitikucha. Mangsi Ballabha was asking, will I go to Bābājī Mahārāja's Samadhi? Yeah, I'm going to try, because I am on kind of a bit of a marathon with these projects, but I'll try. Yeah, I'd like to. Okay, I'm going to get my mridanga, and then we can sing this together. 1 second. What time is it? It's almost 8 o'clock. Oh, if anybody has to, I know that it's now, the class is an hour later in America. So yeah, I don't want to keep anybody up too late if it's, yeah. All right, I'll be right back. All right. Okay. And Satya Mataji, your hand's raised from before, right? You didn't raise it. Yeah, I think so. Did you have something to say? Yeah, okay, you did not. You took it down. Okay. All right. Sharing my screen, and let's sing this Śrīla Jagannātha Ashtakam. maybe we'll do it like before, like I'll read the translation and then sing the verse so that we know what we're singing exactly. What's the meter though? Rupanuganam pravaram sudantim. Okay. I venerate Jagannātha Prabhu, the best of the Vaishnavas, the foremost of the followers of Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī, the king of Lord Gauranga Chandra's dear devotees, who takes pleasure in remembering Radhika and Madhav. Wait, did I turn off noise suppression? Okay, great. Sorry. Rupanuganam pravarang sudantam Shri Gaura Chandra Priya Bhaktarajam Śrī Rasikānanda Madhava Chittaramam Vande Jagannātha vibhung varenyam. I venerate Jagannātha Prabhu, the best of the Vaishnavas, who was the dearest associate of Śrī Madhusūdana dāsa Bābājī, the most merciful resident of Surya Kund. Śrī Surya Kunda Shrayina Kripalayo Vidvadvara Śrī Madhusūdanasya Prishta Sarupena Virajamanam Vande Jagannātha vibhung varenyam. I venerate Śrī Jagannātha Prabhu, the best of the Vaishnavas, who stood out from the rest of the devotees of Śrī Dham Vrindavan, just like the moon amongst the stars. He was the protector of the assembly of Vaishnavas, who are uniquely dedicated to the chanting of the holy name. Śrī Dham Vrindavana Vasi Bhakta Nakshatra Raji Stita Somatulyam Ekanta Namashrita Sangapalam Vande Jagannātha vibhung varenyam. I venerate Jagannātha Prabhu, the best of the Vaishnavas, aglow with devotion to Hari, endowed with knowledge and renunciation, a veritable thunderbolt to those who are wicked and pretenders, and ever affectionate to the faithful. O Vairagya Vidya Hari Bhakti Diptam Dorjanya Kapatya Vibheda Vajram Shradayuteshvadara Vrittimantam Vande Jagannātha vibhung varenyam. I venerate Jagannātha Prabhu, the best of the Vaishnavas, who is directed by Gauranga himself to point out the place where he appeared on this earth. He is worshipped by even the gods as the sovereign of the Vaishnavas on this earth. Samprerito Gora Sudangshunaya Shakrehita Janma Griha Prakasham Devarnutam Vaishnava Sarvabhaumam Vande Jagannātha vibhung varenyam. I venerate Jagannātha Prabhu, the best of the Vaishnavas, who infused the devoted Bhaktivinoda Thakur with all of his own potency, and through him unleashed the flood of Harinam throughout the universe. Sancharya Sarvam Nirja Shakti Rashim Yo Bhakti Purne Chavinoda Deve Tene Jagatyam Harinama Vanyam Vande Jagannātha vibhung varenyam. I venerate great Jagannātha Prabhu, the best of the Vaishnavas, always immersed in the ocean of sacred rapture and engaged in forcefully preaching the holy names of the Lord's abode. He danced ecstatically in the yoga pit at Mayapur. Shri Nama Damno Prabala Prachare Iha Param Prema Rasabdi Magnam Shri Yoga Pithe Krita Nritya Bhangam Vande Jagannātha vibhung varenyam. I venerate Jagannātha Prabhu, the best of the Vaishnavas, who is totally attached to the holy Dham of Mayapur, who is joyful from the vision of Gauranga, and whose eyes flow with tears from the chanting of the holy names. Mayapure Dhamani Sakta Chittam Gora Prakashena Chamodayuktam Srinama Ganar Galarashu Netram Vande Jagannātha Vibhum Varenyam. O Lord, O Sovereign of the Vaishnavas, through your devotion, you have overcome even the rulers of demigods. I constantly venerate the most pious line of Bhakti Vinod Thakur that has grown out from your body and works. He Deva He Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Bhaktya Parabhuta Mahendra Drishna Tvare Gatra Vistara Kritim Supunyam Vande Mohor Bhakti Vinoda Dharam Vande Jagannātha Vibhum Varenyam Vande Jagannātha Vibhum Varenyam Vande Jagannātha Vibhum Varenyam Vande Jagannātha Vibhum Varenyam Vande Jagannātha Vibhum Varenyam. Jai Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, Jai Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja. Jai. What a beautiful ashtakam. Maybe I'll work on translating that today. All right, so now, if anybody has to go now, I know it's very late at night for many of you. Dandavat pranams. But now we're going to read from Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj from this book. Yes. And also, if anybody likes, just recently, before Kartik time, we read the entire book by Śrīla Bhakti Vigyan Parati Gosvāmī Mahārāj, Volcanic Energy. And I made a playlist on my YouTube channel of all of our readings from that. So if you'd like to listen to any of that, then yeah, just go to my YouTube channel. All right, so let's find this. Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj. Oh my God. Okay, I just looked down here. It says 1 hour, 29 minutes left in this chapter. So of course we're not going to be able to read all this. I'm going to read for half an hour. We'll see how far we get. Oh, it has a stotram. Let's sing the stotram. Is it a stotram? I mean, like, is this an ashtakam? Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Rupanuka Priyaya Cha. Okay, let's do this. Vidya Lala Didi is also asking for those instructions by Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja. Okay, what I can do, this will take 1 second. I can just take a picture of it. I can't give you the text because this is just a picture, but I'll do this right now. This is from my Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja's article. This is published in Raise the Harmonies 2006. There. Let's put it in our group. Oops. There. Yeah, maybe I'll put it in the tithi group as well. Okay, there. Okay, let's sing this. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I kind of like the system of reading the translation and then singing the verse, reading the translation, singing the verse. Because then when I'm singing the verse, I know what I'm actually singing. Obeisances to Om Vishnupad, Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, the one who is dear to the followers of Rupa Goswami. Namayom Vishnupadaya Rupanuga Lokapriyaya cha Śrīmate Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Namine. Obeisances to you, the spiritual guide, the non-different manifestation of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the Redeemer of the fallen souls, and the personification of the quality of forgiveness. Krishna bhina prakasha shri murtaye dinatarine kshama gunaya avataraya gurave prabhave namaha. There's beautiful pastimes showing his quality of forgiveness. Obeisances to you, who, by rendering affectionate service to God brothers, you demonstrated your loving attachment to Guru, and who manifested the glory of Ishodhyan at Sri Mayapur. Satirtha priti sadharma guru priti pradarshine Ishodhyana prabhavasya prakashakayate namaha. Obeisances to you, who increased the joy of those devoted to Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur by recovering his birthplace in Puri, for which you are justly renowned. Shri Kshetre Prabhupadasya Stanodhara Sukirtaye Saraswata Ganananda Samvardhanayate Namaha. I worship my Lord, Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj, teacher of the holy name and spiritual master to the universe. Shri Bhakti Dayita Namacharya Varyam Jagar Gurum Vande Shri Madhavam Deva Gosvāmī Pravaram Prabhu. Vande Shri Madhavam Deva Gosvāmī Pravaram Prabhu. Jaya Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī. Jaya Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī. Appearance of Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj. 10th in the preceptorial line from Sri Krishna Caitanya, Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Om Ashtotarashata Shri Srimad Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj Vishnupad, the dear associate of Prabhupada Ashtotarashata Shri Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, who was the founder of the Caitanya Mat and the Gaudiya Mats throughout the world. Shri Srimad Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj was himself the founder of the Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Mat throughout India, and my own spiritual master. He appeared in this world at 8 a.m. on Friday, Agrahayan 3, on November 18th, 1904, on Uttana Akadashi, in the village of Kanchanapara, in the Madaripur subdivision of the Faridpur district in East Bengal. Oh yes, that 11-verse prayer is also available on the Gaudiya Kirtan app. Okay, Rukmini Didi gave the link. Maybe we can sing that at the end. Yeah. Uttana Akadashi is the tithi which marks the end of the Chaturmasya period, when Lord Vishnu performs the pastimes of waking up from his 4-month-long sleep. It is thus a day that brings joy and auspiciousness to the world. Similarly, the appearance on that tithi of the most compassionate dear associate of Lord Hari, our most worshipable Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj had the effect of bringing joy and good fortune to the world's conditioned souls who are suffering from the threefold miseries. It is also significant that our Parameshti Guru, the avatar of extreme renunciation, Paramahansa Vaishnav Śrīla Kishore dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, entered the eternal pastimes on this same tithi. Śrīla Gurudev's birthplace and family. Oh, I don't know if there's a translation. We should make a translation for that. Śrīla Gurudev's birthplace and family. Kanchanapara village is in a pure and beautiful area on the banks of the Padma River near its mouths in the precinct of Bedarganj. I don't even know this word. What's distinction? Is this a mistake, like a spelling mistake? The distinction of the Padma River.
It's a typo for distinction.
Okay, it's supposed to be distinction. Okay, I was going to say. The distinction of the Padma River is to award Prem Bhakti, but it is sometimes called Kirti Nasha River, the river which destroys all glories. Okay, the river that destroys all glories, because its annual flooding washes away so many villages and towns. Further upstream, there's a place called Prem Tali, where Nityananda Prabhu once bathed, depositing divine love of God for Nartam Das Thakur. The village was prosperous and home to a large number of brahmanas. It was also the residence of my Gurudev's maternal uncles, who are of a prominent wealthy family in the area. Although they were talukdars, or subsidiary landholders, they were given respect equal to that of zamindars. The British rulers of the day decorated them with the title Raj Chakravarti. Thus, although the family name was Bandyopadhyaya, their home came to be known as Chakravarti Badi. The village is known to his disciples as Gurudev's Matulalaya. The following is known about Śrīla Gurudev's paternal family. Actually, because we're not going to have time to read all of this, no, I'll read it. Whatever, let's just go. The following is known as about Śrīla Gurudev's paternal family. His grandfather was named Shri Chandi Prasad Deva Sharma Bandyopadhyaya. God, I have a hard time saying that last name. Bandyopadhyaya. His father, Shri Nishikanti Deva Sharma Bandyopadhyaya. Sorry, I'm just going to continue. They lived in the village of Barakar in the precinct of Tangibadi in the Bikramapur subdivision of the Dhaka district. Both Śrīla Gurudev's father and grandfather were well known in the district as pious men. Śrīla Gurudev's mother, Shaibalini Devi, was an extremely devoted woman who dedicated herself to the service of God, the Brahmins, and holy men. Śrīla Gurudev lost his father at the age of 4, after which his mother took him and returned to her brother's home, which is where he was raised. His uncle's great affection for him played an important part in his upbringing. The name given by his father was Shri Heramba Kumar Bandyopadhyaya, but he was known by his nickname Ganesh. That was his Dakanam, I guess, right? Guru Maharaja's childhood. Śrīla Gurudev began to display extraordinary qualities from a very early age. Under no circumstances would he tell a lie. He would furthermore explain the moral value of truthfulness to his friends and companions. Everyone was impressed by the young lad's character. Even when very young, Śrīla Gurudev showed no interest in material enjoyments. He distinguished himself from the other children by his desire to lead an ordinary and disciplined life. Not only did he himself act in this way, but he encouraged the other children to do the same. He always tried to alleviate the sufferings of others and bring them happiness, even if it meant undergoing difficulty himself. People who observed the extent of his generosity and wisdom were convinced that he would grow up to be a great personality of extraordinary virtue. I personally heard from Srila Gurudev's mother that whenever she gave him some special delicacy or sweet, he would only eat whatever was left after he had called his friends and distributed it amongst them. At school, his teachers were astonished to hear him say things which showed a level of wisdom beyond his years. The following story can serve as an example. One day, he and some of his fellow students were playing the ways of boys that age do. They were engaged in various competitions of speed and strength, including a running race. Srila Gurudev quickly took the lead, but tripped on a root and fell with great force, causing him to bleed profusely. When his school teachers and other guardians heard, they rushed to the scene and applied medicines to his cuts and bruises. They also said many things to calm him, but he answered, "You need not worry on my account. I will get better soon. The Lord does everything for our good. I could have injured my eyes, ears, or broken my nose, but nothing serious like that happened. I no doubt committed so many sins in previous lives that I should have suffered a more serious accident, but God is so merciful that he did not allow it to happen." When the school teachers heard him say these things, they immediately realized that he was no ordinary child. While in high school, Srila Gurudev started a library for the benefit of his poorer classmates and lent books to them without cost. At all ages, in his boyhood, adolescence, or youth, Srila Gurudev was a natural leader as a result of his tall, handsome figure. Could you... Okay. 1 second. Oh, Haribol Niri Hari Prabhu and Pavatarani Mataji, I didn't see you before. Sorry. At all ages in his boyhood, adolescence, or youth, Srila Gurudev was a natural leader as a result of his tall, handsome figure, his charismatic personality, his extraordinary honesty and patience. He never had to apply or stand for election to leadership positions. Whenever he chose to participate, they would unfailingly be impressed by his qualities and acclaim him as their leader. What is more, they were satisfied with his performance afterwards. In truth, leadership is the result of an individual's depth of character, exemplary behavior, and competence. Tall and strong, Srila Gurudev also excelled in sports and was regularly made captain of his teams. He also participated in dramatic presentations. There was no area in which he did not excel, and thus he was always involved in directing any setup meant for the social well-being. He even played a role in the independence movement. Beginnings of a spiritual calling. Srila Gurudev was exemplary in his devotion to his mother. She would read to him and have him read various scriptures so that he became conversant with subjects related to religion and imbued with faith in God. She made him read the Bhagavad Gita daily so that by the age of 11, Srila Gurudev had memorized all of its verses. Wow. By the age of 11, he memorized all the verses of Bhagavad Gita. He finished his primary and secondary education in Kanchanapada and Pattagram. Then, for higher education, he went to Kolkata. While in Kolkata, his feelings of separation from the Lord intensified. He stayed with a relative named Narayan Chandra Mukhopadhyaya, who later took sannyas from him and was given the name Bodhayan Mahārāj. Narayan Chandra Prabhu recounted that he often saw Srila Gurudev calling out the names of the Lord and crying in the middle of the night. He would eat only havishyana, an unspiced khichdi, once a day. In this state of absorption in the Lord, he one day had a dream in which Narad Muni came to reassure him. Narad Muni gave him a mantra and told him that by chanting it, he would achieve all perfection. However, upon awakening, try as he might, Srila Gurudev was unable to recall the mantra in its entirety. The loss of the mantra bewildered and distressed him immeasurably. His impatience with household life reached an intolerable degree, and he became determined to leave it behind. With this in mind, he went to ask the blessings of his widowed mother, who at that time was living in Gosvāmī Durgapur, in the Nadia district. She made no efforts to oppose his wishes. So, with an intense desire to have the company of the Supreme Lord, Srila Gurudev set off for the Himalayas. Just as iron filings attracted by a magnetic force cannot be thwarted, the individual soul who has been attracted to the Supreme Soul allows nothing of this world, whether friends or family, to interfere with his calling. Wow, another more modern example of Narad Rishi inspiring somebody to leave family life. And that's so neat. I've never heard that story before. Srila Gurudev goes to Haridwar. Srila Gurudev's intense desire for the Lord brought him first to Haridwar, and from there into the mountains, though he was alone and in a state of indignance. High up in the Himalayan jungle, he fasted for 3 days from food and water and did not sleep, all the time calling out anxiously to the Lord. When he had practically lost all awareness of the external world, he was given a divine order to seek out a spiritual master. He was also told that his guru would appear to him in the very place he had left. Taking the divine order as his imperative, he came down from the mountain to the banks of the Ganga in the holy town of Haridwar, where he decided to stay for a few days. While there, he met a saintly person to whom he recounted all that had happened on the mountain. When he asked the sadhu for advice, he was told to return home and that he would meet a bona fide spiritual master there. Srila Gurudev made up his mind that he would return to Kolkata after spending a few more days in the pilgrimage town. But his stay in Haridwar was disturbed when a rich businessman and his wife from North India came there on pilgrimage. The couple, which was childless, saw the handsome figure of Srila Gurudev when bathing in Brahmakund and were attracted to him. They gave him a gift of fruits and sweets and insisted that he visited them in their lodgings. When this happened almost every day, out of courtesy, Srila Gurudev acceded to their request. At their place of residence, acceded or conceded? Anyways, doesn't matter. At their place of it's probably a right word. I don't have such a great vocabulary. At their place of residence, they once again fed him copiously and generally treated him with great affection. Finally, they proposed that he become their adopted son, which meant that he would eventually inherit their substantial wealth. Srila Gurudev was unprepared for such an offer and began to think, I came here with the intention of abandoning family life. Now Maya has devised another way to ensnare me. Srila Gurudev politely refused their proposal and left their home, but the businessman and his wife were so enamored of him that they came each day and repeatedly put pressure on him to accept their offer. One who has a sincere eagerness to attain the Supreme Lord, however, cannot be swayed by any amount of material temptation. Someone filled with desires for sense enjoyment would have found it impossible to resist such an opportunity to become heir to a fortune. But Srila Gurudev had no such yearnings. Because of his sincere aspiration to worship the Lord, he considered the couple's invitation to be dangerous and rejected it out of hand. Consequently, he found it impossible to remain in Haridwar and returned to Kolkata without any further delay. These events took place sometime around 1925. Yeah, it's something we read a lot in Volcanic Energy, how everybody was attractive to Srila Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Goswāmī Mahārāj. Like somehow he was just able to anybody who saw him completely fell in love with him. And it became a problem. Anyways, that's a whole thing. Srila Gurudev meets Srila Prabhupada. That same year, Srila Gurudev came to visit Mayapur for the first time with Narayan Chandra Mukhopadhyaya and some other friends. There they saw Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada and were attracted by his divine personality. During their conversation, Srila Prabhupada said that it was all right to visit the deity form in the temple, but that one has to learn to see it first. One cannot really see it with eyes that are blinded by material desire, but only with the eyes of love. On that same day, Srila Prabhupada initiated Dr. S.N. Ghosh and his wife, and that is the great-grandfather of Rukmini Didi, who is here with us today. And I'm not sure if Rukmani Didi is also here. I don't know, but yeah. And we've read about Jagannātha Prabhu, right? Jagannātha Prabhu. We've read about him on a few occasions. But, yeah. After returning to Kolkata, Srila Gurudev started visiting the Gaudiya Math on Ulta Danga Road to hear Srila Prabhupada speak Harikatha. Understanding that through service to the Vaishnavas, one can clear the path to the Lord and receive his mercy, or perhaps wishing to teach that same principle to the world, Srila Gurudev sent much money and material for the math without any fanfare. Yeah, he'd do it secretly. No fanfare. During this period, he also spent much time in studying the scriptures. After hearing the Vaishnava doctrines from Srila Prabhupada, he became convinced of their rationality and superiority over other religious dogmas. He took shelter of Srila Prabhupada, and on September 4th, 1927, on Radhashtami, he received initiation in the holy name and mantra at the Ulta Danga Math. After initiation, he was known as Hayagriva Das Brahmachari. Acharya Das Deva Sharma was the officiating priest at the Vaishnav fire sacrifice. Life and service in the Gaudiya Math. Not long after being initiated, Srila Gurudev decided to commit himself completely to the service of Krishna and his devotees by moving into the math. He thus took the great vow of remaining a lifelong celibate, or Naishtika Brahmachari. It was not long before Srila Gurudev was counted amongst Srila Prabhupada's leading disciples as a result of this dedicated service to his Guru, his unflinching enthusiasm, and his competence in a variety of services. Srila Prabhupada used the words volcanic energy to describe Srila Gurudev's unflinching resolve, application, and success in all endeavors entrusted to him. Volcanic energy. Rukmini Didi, do you know the Bengali for that? The volcanic energy?
No, but I believe that Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said this in English.
Oh, he said it in English. Okay, yeah, because I haven't seen it anywhere yet. And we've read the whole book, Volcanic Energy. So, okay, he said it in English. That's awesome.
I mean, I could be mistaken, but for some reason I have that impression.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense then. That makes sense that I haven't seen it yet also. Volcanic energy, though. I just love that. Srila Gurudev was one of the leading collectors whose service was essential for maintaining Srila Prabhupada's vast movement, and especially the efforts made towards preaching Mahaprabhu's message in the West. Anyone who saw Srila Gurudev's golden form and heard him speak Harikatha could not fail to be attracted. Many people came forth spontaneously and made donations to him. On Srila Prabhupada's order, Srila Gurudev spent a long time at the Madras Gaudiya Math, where he was chiefly responsible for the purchase of land and the construction of the temple, the Natya Mandir, and the residences. During this time, he was particularly encouraged by his senior godbrothers, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Mahārāj and Srila Bhakti Hriday Ban Mahārāj. In the course of collecting funds for this project, Srila Gurudev met with leading citizens of Madras and became closely acquainted with many of them. Srila Prabhupada's advance man. In order to awaken a consciousness of the Lord amongst the people at large, Srila Prabhupada traveled to Kolkata, Dhaka, Patna, Allahabad, Benares, and other important places throughout India and held spiritual exhibitions. He organized preaching festivals as well as parikramas of Vraj and Navadip Dhams, established preaching centers and mats, spreading the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in various cities within India as well as outside the country, putting on programs and sending out street Sankirtan parties. He also established shrines of Mahaprabhu's feet, padapits, in many of the places that the Lord had visited. He restored other holy sites and published transcendental books, magazines, and newspapers in a variety of languages in order to spread the message of pure devotion. Srila Gurudev was a leading participant in this colossal preaching movement of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada generally sensed Srila Gurudev as the advance man to do the groundwork for these events. He had complete faith that whatever task he gave him would be carried out to completion. Srila Gurudev was one of the principal devotees charged with building the Ramananda Gaudiya Math in memory of Mahaprabhu's intimate associate, Ramananda Rai. He was involved in purchasing land in Andhra Pradesh near Goshpada Tirtha in the Rajmundri district, where Ramananda's meeting with Lord Caitanya took place, and in supervising the construction of the buildings. Anyone, no matter how important a person, who met Srila Gurudev, with his handsome features and imposing physique, pleasant manner, extraordinary personality, facility with modern reasoning, with modern reasoning and ability to convince by means of irrefutable scriptural evidence. So no matter how important a person, anyone who met with him because of these qualities, they would become enchanted and quite happy to do anything requested of him. Srila Gurudev's entire being, his meditation, his thoughts, his japa, everything was fully devoted to fulfilling Srila Prabhupada's desires. Wow, that is beautiful. Wow, I love that sentence. Let's reread that. Srila Gurudev's entire being, his meditation, his thoughts, his japa, everything was fully devoted to fulfilling Srila Prabhupada's desires. Today's volunteer workers cannot even imagine the extent of his commitment to service, for which he gave up eating and sleeping, working through the night if necessary to achieve his goals. Srila Gurudev's single-minded allegiance to his spiritual master is an example to be followed by everyone. He never undertook any task without the express direction of his spiritual master. As a result of his full surrender to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, he came to inherit his divine potency for spreading Lord Chaitanya's mission in its entirety. Oh my God, this is giving me goosebumps. This is so beautiful. It's 8:31 already. I want to continue reading. It's so beautiful, but I guess I should end here. No ending. Actually, I do have to call somebody though at 9 o'clock. Okay. If anybody needs to leave, I really don't want to hold anybody up. I know it's late for many devotees. Yeah, so Dandavat Pranams if you have to leave now. But yeah, I'm going to just continue reading because I can't stop. Okay, Srila Prabhupada's visit to Assam. We can know the degree to which Srila Prabhupada entrusted Srila Gurudev and considered him to be a responsible servant and intimate associate from comments he made in March of 1936 on the occasion of the installation of Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari tithis at the Tīrobhāv Gaudiya Math in Assam. The Tīrobhāv Gaudiya Math in Assam's Kamrup district, at present in the Barpeta district, was one of the 64 maths and preaching centers that were established during Srila Prabhupada's time. Srila Prabhupada sent Srila Gurudev along with his senior godbrother Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Mahārāj, and also Janaki Vallabha Das Brahmachari and others in advance to prepare for the deity installation ceremony. At that time, the math was under the direction of Srila Gurudev's senior godbrother, Tridandi Swami Bhakti Vigyan Ashram Mahārāj. Srila Gurudev's party arrived in Sarbog only a few days before the festival date, and was shocked to find that little or nothing had been done in preparation for Srila Prabhupada's coming and the installation of the deities. Srila Gurudev's transcendental nature was such that he would never lose enthusiasm or stop working until his desired goals were achieved. I remember Srila Śrīla Gosvāmī said, what for most people is their ending point, for Srila Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī is where that's what he considers the beginning. The beginning of his endeavors is when people, He immediately brought all his efforts to bear on finding temporary quarters for Srila Prabhupada and the other devotees who would be coming with him. Oh, so there weren't even any place for them to stay. When Srila Prabhupada arrived at the Sarbog railway station at 6:30 a.m. on Sunday, March 15, 1936, he was greeted by a large party of devotees and local citizens. Noteworthy amongst those who accompanied him were Kunja Bihari Vidyabhushan Prabhu, Paramananda Vidyaratna Prabhu, Vasudev Prabhu, Kirtanananda Brahmachari, Sajan Mahārāj, and Krishna Keshav Brahmachari. On each of the 3 days that Srila Prabhupada remained in Sarbog, thousands of men, women, and children were satisfied with varieties of Mahaprasad. On the following day, Srila Prabhupada ordered Chidandi Swami Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Mahārāj to make final arrangements for Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari's installation rituals, over which he was to officiate. As a part of these arrangements, Srila Sridhar Mahārāj dressed the deities and decorated them with flower garlands and other ornaments. At the auspicious moment at 10 o'clock in the morning, upon being told that everything was ready, Srila Prabhupada entered the temple room, took darshan of the garlanded deities, and paid his prostrated obeisances to them. He said, "The deities have already been installed." We just read this recently from the book, Lotus-eyed Lion. On hearing this, Srila Sridhar Mahārāj immediately became remorseful, thinking that he had committed an offense by doing something that Srila Prabhupada had intended to do himself. Despite his faux pas. What's faux pas mean?
Literally false step.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Pronounced faux pas.
Oh, faux pas, sorry. Despite his faux pas, the installation of the deities was performed in great splendor according to the regulations of the Vaishnava Smritis and in the midst of joyous Sankirtan. At the end of the installation ceremony, Ashram Mahārāj repeatedly asked Srila Gurudev to tell Srila Prabhupada that Nimananda Brahmachari had not carried out his duties. Srila Gurudev was reluctant to do anything which would be displeasing to Srila Prabhupada, so at first he refused. Upon being pressed, however, he felt obliged to do as he was asked out of respect for his senior godbrother. Actually, I think this is exactly what we read, isn't it? This is probably what your mother translated, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I believe the memoir hadn't been translated yet at the time, if I recall correctly.
Okay. Later that day, Srila Gurudev followed Srila Prabhupada when he went out for a walk, fanning him to keep insects away. As they were talking, he told Prabhupada of Ashram Mahārāja's complaint. As soon as Srila Prabhupada heard it, he became angry and chastised Srila Gurudev, who felt extremely sorry at having displeased him. Srila Prabhupada, however, seeing the effect his words had on Srila Gurudev, immediately changed his mood and began to praise him affectionately. Srila Gurudev was not happy at hearing such praise either, because he took it to mean that Srila Prabhupada felt that he would not be able to take criticism. However, Srila Prabhupada took the opportunity to give him many valuable personal instructions that showed the extent to which he held his disciple dear. Srila Prabhupada first said, "Why do you want so much? And why do you let it bother you that much? It is not proper to expect so much service from any person. Your service to your spiritual master and all its details are your responsibility alone. You should be grateful if anyone else contributes to it in any way. Krishna's major domo," domo, that's a new word for me. What's this word? Major domo?
It's actually one word. There shouldn't be a space there.
Okay.
So
How do you say it?
you remove, yeah, major domo, but if you remove the space, you'll find it. It's
Oh,
it's
okay.
kind of like a main servant.
Okay. So Krishna's main servant is Shima.
It's usually a man, so it's kind of, anyway, it's kind
okay.
of funny.
Okay. So Krishna's primary servant, Krishna's topmost servant is Srimati Radhika. She knows that she alone.
Yeah, it is weird that
Yes. She knows that she alone is entirely responsible for Krishna's pleasure. If anyone comes forward to help her, she is filled with gratitude. Here it is apparent that Srila Prabhupada was saying that it was up to Srila Gurudev to take full responsibility for his service in its entirety. If anyone should assist him in the fulfillment of that responsibility, he should be grateful. From this statement, it is clear that Srila Prabhupada considered him to be a confidential associate. Because of this affectionate relationship and the physical similarity of Srila Gurudev to the tall, light-skinned Srila Prabhupada, people often mistook him to be his son. Srila Gurudev often recounted the story of the Sarbhog Gaudiya Math when he wished to give an example of the process of surrender to his disciples. We have already stated that Śrīla Śrīla Mahārāj humbly felt as though he had committed an offense for having garlanded the deities in the place of Srila Prabhupada. Śrīla Śrīla Mahārāj asked Srila Gurudev to approach Srila Prabhupada and ask him for forgiveness on his behalf, saying that he had made the mistake unintentionally. Having been so entreated by Śrīla Śrīla Mahārāj, Srila Gurudev wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada in which he prayed for forgiveness on Śrīla Śrīla Mahārāj's behalf. Srila Prabhupada answered that a surrendered soul never commits offenses. The Lord never sees the faults of one who is surrendered to him, always forgiving him, for the surrendered person has given up everything for the service of the Lord without any ulterior motive. On the other hand, someone who has ulterior motives and is not surrendered must fear offenses at every moment. I'm just continuing on. Because this is so good. I hope. If anybody needs to leave, please don't worry. I don't. Srila Gurudev happy for not going to England. Srila Prabhupada was eager to preach Mahaprabhu's message in the Western world and had chosen Srila Gurudev as one of his missionaries because of his competence. By Srila Prabhupada's order, he and two other godbrothers had their photos taken and passports made in preparation for the trip. When everything was ready, Rajarshi Sharadindu Narayan Rai said to Srila Prabhupada, "England is a land full of heavenly nymphs. I don't think it is a good idea to send handsome young men there to preach. It would be better to send a more mature disciple." Srila Prabhupada thought of Rajarshi's suggestion. He thought that Rajarshi's suggestion had merit, and so decided to send Srila Bhakti Pradeep Tīrtha Mahārāj in Srila Gurudev's place. He gave Srila Gurudev the responsibility of collecting money for the preaching mission. Srila Gurudev was afraid that Srila Prabhupada would not remain in the world much longer, and had been worried that if sent to England, he might never see him again. He was thus relieved when Srila Prabhupada changed his mind about sending him there on the Rajarshi's advice. Meeting with Panchanana Tarkaratna. Srila Prabhupada recognized that Srila Gurudev possessed a great talent for persuading others with his humble and respectful manner of defeating their arguments. As a result, on October 4th, 1936, he decided to send him to Bengal's leading religious scholar, Panchanana Tarkaratna of Bhattapara in Naihati. Panchanana Tarkaratna was very proud of being a Brahmin and a learned scholar, and had forcefully criticized the Daiva Varnashram system preached by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was afraid that his criticisms would cause untold harm to countless people seeking the ultimate good, and thus gave Srila Gurudev the responsibility of trying to change his opinion. Panchanana Tarkaratna was reluctant to give proper respect to anyone who is not born in the Brahmin caste. For this reason, Srila Prabhupada told Gurudev to go without Vaishnav tilak and give his identity as a high-class Brahmana. On the given day, at 8:30 in the morning, so he's in a disguise. On the given day at 8:30 in the morning, Srila Gurudev came to Panchanana Tarkaratna's house, accompanied by Prapula Chandra Chantopadhyaya of Naihati's Kantalpara. He first met with the Pandit's highly qualified son, Shri Jiva Nyaya Tīrtha, and then spent 2 hours in scriptural discussions with the Pandit himself. Srila Gurudev often recounted the experience that he had. He often recounted the experience that he had to his disciples as follows. This is Srila Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj speaking now. It is true that Panchanana Tarkaratna possessed vast learning, learning. He had memorized large numbers of verses from scriptures. But in some cases, he was not able to come to logical conclusions or to harmonize the apparent inconsistencies. In his arguments, he would go down a blind alley and not be able to give a proper answer when questioned. When asked how such a great scholar could end up in this way, Srila Gurudev would answer, Pandit Mahashaya had never had the opportunity to associate with a pure devotee or a real saintly person. Only by following a pure devotee or through associating with saintly persons can one arrive at the right conclusions. Srila Gurudev's long conversation with Panchanana Tarkaratna resulted in an article which headlines the Gaudiya, the Matt's Bengali Weekly, year 15, issue number 13 to 15 in 1936. Okay, so here's the article. Srila Gurudev meets with Dr. C.V. Raman. The following events took place in 1930 while Srila Prabhupada was still present. A month-long festival is being held at the Kolkata Bagh Bazaar Gaudiya Math for Janmashtami. Each day, a different dignitary was invited to sit as an honorary chairman of the evening meeting. Some students of world-renowned scientist C.V. Raman were amongst those who came regularly to listen to the lectures of the Gaudiya Math saints. One day, these students came to see Srila Prabhupada and complained that every day a different distinguished person was being made honorary chairman. But their professor, whose fame had spread throughout the world, had not even been invited. Srila Prabhupada answered that he had no objection to having Dr. Raman be honorary chairman one evening, and he asked Srila Gurudev to take charge of inviting him. Oh wait, I was thinking this is the article, so I was reading like that. Anyways, Srila Gurudev first went to Dr. Raman's house, but did not find him there. His wife sent him with an orderly. What's an orderly? Invitation, I'm guessing, to Dr. Raman's laboratory on Circular Road. There, Srila Gurudev met with the scientist on the second floor, where he was sitting in a corner of a huge loft, engaged in his research activity. Dr. Raman spoke neither Bengali nor Hindi, and so their conversation took place in English. Upon being asked by Dr. Raman the reason for his coming, Srila Gurudev answered, "A large month-long religious gathering is being held by the Bagh Bazaar Gaudiya Math on Janmashtami. On each day, a different dignitary of the city is invited to grace the chairman's seat, and we humbly invite you to do the same." Dr. Raman answered, "I do not believe in your Keshta Bishtu. I have no faith in anything that cannot be confirmed by direct sensory experience. I cannot waste my valuable time with imaginary things. I value my time. I would prefer to attend any conference dealing with science or education, but not a religious one." Srila Gurudev said, "Your own students have been coming regularly to listen to the Mat Swamiji speak. It was their desire that you be honored in the same way that so many other eminent persons of Kolkata have been. I have been asked by my Gurudev to invite you, so please accept our invitation." Dr. Raman then challenged Srila Gurudev, "Can you show me your God? If you can show him to me, then I'll go." On one side of the lab room in which the conversation was being held was a windowless, doorless wall, on the other side of which lay the whole north of Kolkata. On the other side of which lay the whole north of Kolkata, the whole of North Kolkata. Srila Gurudev asked, "I can see nothing on the other side of this wall, but if I say there's nothing there, will that be true?" Dr. Raman answered, "Perhaps you cannot see what is there, but I could with the appropriate instruments." Srila Gurudev then asked him, "There is a limit to what your instruments can do. You can only see as far as they allow you. Can you say that there's nothing beyond these limits?" Dr. Raman replied, "Never mind. I will not waste my time on this. I will not give my attention to anything which cannot be within my sense experience. I will only spare my valuable time if you can actually show me your God. Can you do it? Srila Gurudev. If your students were to say to you that they will study your scientific findings only if you can show them the truth of what you have realized through your experiments, what will you say? Dr. Raman. I would make them realize it. Srila Gurudev. Can you make them realize before teaching them? Dr. Raman. No. First, I'd have to show them the process by which I have come to realize the truth. They will have to follow that process, and if they want to have the same they will have to follow that process if they want to have the same realization. First, they have to earn their BS degree, I think, Bachelor's of Science or something. I don't know, BS degree, and then their MS, and then they will have to study with me for another 5 years. Then I'll be able to make them understand. Srila Gurudev, if that is true for you and your scientific knowledge, then can the seers of ancient India not say exactly the same thing? Follow their process and see whether or not you experience the existence of soul, supersoul, and God. You are not able to show the scientific truths you profess to your students until they have adopted your process. Similarly, if you want to experience or understand God, you have to follow the process by which that is accomplished. If it does not happen, then you can deny his existence. But how can you deny his existence without following the process? And Dr. Raman could not answer. After a few moments of silence, he said, I know nothing about Krishna. If I go, I'll be able to say nothing. You would be better off inviting someone who knows something about these matters. Srila Gurudev's quick-wittedness and presence of mind was such that it was impossible to get away with an illogical statement in his presence. Such capacity does not come with simple book learning. Only one who has surrendered himself to his spiritual master and has come to direct realization of the truth through his mercy can display such divine power. To such a person, a display of intelligence without any basis in realization cannot get very far. After the disappearance, okay, I'm going to read up till 9 o'clock, then I have to make a call to somebody. So we'll just read this section and then finish. After the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada instructed all of his disciples to follow Ashraya Vigraha, Sri Guru, in preaching the message of Sri Rupa and Raghunatha Goswāmis, and that they should work together to achieve this one purpose. From the superficial point of view of short-sighted pessimists, the events which followed Srila Prabhupada's disappearance seem to have contradicted his wishes. But whatever comes about as a result of the all-auspicious Lord Hari's desire is for the good of everyone. If we are unable to see the truth of this basic tenet of spiritual life, we become incapable of reconciling things and become unhappy as a result. Nothing takes place contrary to the will of the Lord. One who believes that he is all auspicious must also accept that whatever takes place is somehow working toward the fulfillment of some larger auspicious purpose. Very important instructions for us. The short-sighted are only able to realize this after much water has flowed under the bridge. Mahaprabhu said, "My name will be preached in every town and village throughout the world." In order to bring this prophecy to fruition, it was his will and that of his Abhinna Prakash Murti, his non-different manifestation, Srila Prabhupada, that those leading disciples who had been enriched by their blessings, should be inspired to work to that end independently. Srila Prabhupada did not wish that those worthy disciples of his who had attained the qualification to act as acharya should be restricted or limited in their activities. As a result of their being empowered by him to spread Mahaprabhu's message, the movement has today been acknowledged and adopted by many persons throughout the world, fulfilling the Lord's prediction. If Prabhupada's disciples were ordinary flawed living beings who disregarded the wishes of their spiritual master, then such widespread successes would not have been possible. When those what hapless unfortunate, okay, when those unfortunate people who are ignorant of overall intention, who are ignorant of the overall intention of the Supreme Lord, praise one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples and condemn another, they fall from the path of spiritual life into the mire of Vaishnava aparad. All of Srila Prabhupada's associates tried or are trying to sincerely follow his orders to the extent of their abilities. As a result of these sincere efforts, great numbers of wretched souls have been attracted to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and have accepted the discipline of Vaishnava Sadachar. They have been engaged in the worship of Lord Krishna according to the doctrines of pure devotional service and have thus made their lives successful. Okay, there's still 5 minutes left. Maybe we can read this one. Shamananda Gaudiya Math. Opening the Shamananda Gaudiya Math. In 1942, just prior to taking the vows of Tridandi Sannyas, Srila Gurudev worked together with his godbrothers, particularly Tridandi Swami Shishimad Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Mahārāj and Tridandi Swami Shishimad Bhakti Kumud Sanda Mahārāj, to establish a math in the city of Medinipur. This math was named the Shamananda Gaudiya Math. As a result of the preaching efforts of these godbrothers, many men and women of the city became attracted to Mahaprabhu's message and took up the regulative principles of Vaishnava Sadachar and the path of devotional service as ordained by Sri Caitanya. The Gaudiya Math's good name spread throughout the region, and many wealthy citizens of Medinipur city took to the task of establishing a permanent branch there. With their help, lands and a large 2-story building were purchased in the Shiva Bazaar area for the math. Srila Gurudev told the story of how one of the chief donors, Govardhan Piri, came into contact with the math and the amazing change in his life as he renounced all sinful activity to engage in the service of Krishna and the devotees. When Srila Gurudev was in search of donations for the establishment of the math, he suggested going to visit Govardhan Piri, but local people counseled him not to. They described him as a great miser who would not give a paisa to a poor person in need. They told Srila Gurudev that if he were to see him, he was sure to be insulted. Srila Gurudev answered, "A sadhu shouldn't be bothered." One second, let me just turn on noise suppression. There. Srila Gurudev answered, "A sadhu shouldn't be bothered by the fear of insults, nor should he seek praise. If Govardhan Piri is a miser, then the sadhu should make an effort to see that he changes his ways. There is no need to change a good person. We can see the real results of preaching when bad people change and become good." One day, Srila Gurudev went to Govardhan Piri's office and was greeted cordially and given a suitable seat. When he heard from Srila Gurudev that he was trying to open a preaching center through which the ultimate good for the jivas could be achieved through spreading Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, Govardhan Babu responded by saying that his family had worshipped Radha and Krishna for generations and that they continued to serve the deities in his home. He invited Srila Gurudev to come and see them and took him to his rooftop temple to take darshan of his deities. Srila Gurudev was very pleased to see the beautiful Radha Krishna deities and said, "Radha and Krishna are the object of our worship. As yet, we have no deities in our preaching center. We would be very grateful if you gave us these deities for our temple." Govardhan Babu answered, "These are our family deities, and they have a great deal of land in their name. It is impossible for us to part with them. However, if you want to have deities brought for your temple, I will pay the cost." Srila Gurudev told him that the Gaudiya Math imported their deities of Radha and Krishna from Jaipur, but Govardhan Babu was not deterred and continued to agree to bear all the expenses. When Srila Gurudev returns to the ashram and told his companions about Govardhan Babu's offer, they were all dumbfounded. Govardhan Babu paid not only for the deities, but for their service, their dress and ornaments, the installation ceremony, and the feast which followed it. He also began coming regularly to hear Harikatha in the temple. In time, as a result of the association of devotees, he came to realize that materialistic life was without substance and gave up all sinful practices. Understanding that true happiness could only be found in worshiping the Lord, he took initiation in the holy name and then the mantra. He took initiation in the holy name and the mantra and adopted a regulated Vaishnava life. When the local people saw the amazing change in Govardhan Babu's behavior, they were astonished and overjoyed. One day, his wife came to the mat, and in an outburst of emotion, she fell at Srila Gurudev's feet and said, "Ever since you came, my husband has returned to me. All our family problems have disappeared." We cannot say how many people's lives were affected by coming in contact with Srila Gurudev and having sweet dealings with him. This is only a single small example of how one person's life was completely changed. How long is this section? Okay, I'm going to just quickly read this section and then we'll stop. Sorry, I promise I'm going to stop because no, I have to make a call now. I'm just going to write a message. Whatever. I'll be 5 minutes late. Srila Gurudev takes sannyas. Immediately prior to taking sannyas, Srila Gurudev went on a preaching tour of the Bankura and Medinipur districts, visiting Danga, Onda, Janti Pahari, Bankura city, Gadbeta, and other places. People everywhere were impressed by his personality, his upstanding character, and his powerful Harikatha, and became attracted to the gospel of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Accompanying him on this trip were Krishna Keshav Brahmachari, Rama Govinda Brahmachari, Kunjalal Prabhu, Hari Vinod Prabhu, and other godbrothers. Helping the preaching work in Danga and Onda were Radha Govinda Sita and Avinash Pala, respectively. Although Srila Prabhupada had intended to give Srila Gurudev Tridandi sannyas, he never did so because of the important role he played in fundraising. Not long after Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, however, a large group of Gurudev's godbrothers appealed to him to take the renounced order. Amongst them were Srimad Kunja Bihari Vidyabhushan Prabhu, Srimad Bhakti Prakash Aranya Mahārāj, Srimad Bhakti Sarvasva Giri Mahārāj, Srimad Bhakti Sarup Parvat Mahārāj, Srimad Bhakti Prasun Bodhayan Mahārāj, Srimad Keshav Krishna Brahmachari, and Srimad Sundar Gopal Brahmachari. Thus, at the age of 40, to fulfill Srila Prabhupada's command to preach Mahaprabhu's message, he took sannyas according to the Vaishnava rituals from Srimad Bhakti Gaurav Vaikanas Mahārāj on the grounds of the Tota Gopinath temple in Purushottam Dham. It was on the Falgun Purnima of 1944, the 457th anniversary of Mahaprabhu's appearance. He was henceforth known as Parivrajagacharya Tridandi Swami Śrī Srimad Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj. Other important godbrothers present on that occasion were Srimad Kunja Bihari Vidyabhushan Prabhu, Srimad Paramananda Vidyaratna Prabhu, Srimad Parvat Mahārāj, and Srimad Bodhayan Mahārāj. After taking sannyas, Srila Gurudev returns to the Shyamananda Gaudiya Math in Medinipur, where he was greeted with great pomp by the members of the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha. The Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha presented him with a special certificate in which they praised him for his fearless, saintly courage, ability to enchant people when speaking on religious topics, and above all, his affection for the devotees, by which he gave great joy to Srila Prabhupada. All of Srila Gurudev's virtues, his attachment to his spiritual master, and his affection for his godbrothers were exemplary. After Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, when any of his Srila Gurudev's godbrothers were faced with hardship, he would immediately step forward to give him a helping hand without considering his own happiness or distress. Many of Prabhupada's worthiest disciples were unable to come to terms with the turmoil in which the Math found itself after his disappearance, and either returned to householder life or considered doing so. Srila Gurudev took a lot of trouble to find such devotees, seeking them in their home and persuading them to return to the Math and to lead a life of service to the Lord. Some of those he brought back subsequently took the role of Acharya. Devotees are a manifestation of Krishna. Affection for them accurately demonstrates the extent of one's affection for Krishna. That's a beautiful point. I'm going to mention that. I have to give a Chinese class tonight. Class to the Chinese devotees tonight. Similarly, the Guru's disciples are the manifestations of Guru himself. An affectionate behavior towards them demonstrates the depth of one's love for the Guru. Srila Gurudev's exemplary love for his godbrothers was evident to the very last days of his presence in this world. And there are beautiful stories of God brothers who would criticize Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj and who are against him, and how Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj would serve even them didn't care about how much like what they said about him, even if they're against him and were spreading false rumors about him. That didn't matter to him at all, and he would still serve them with everything and every way he could, and engage his disciples in serving them. There's so much to, like, we didn't even get, I think we got 1/3 through that. It says there's 1 more hour worth of reading left in that chapter. So we definitely need to stop now. We're not going to read until 10 o'clock this morning. Right now it's 9 o'clock. So, but thank you so much for staying with me. I wish I could, like, this is so juicy, so much nectar that normally I would continue reading in the evening time so that we could finish this, but I have a Chinese class. It's a 1.5 hour class. So I can't do it, unfortunately. But if anybody wants to continue reading this beautiful book by Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosvāmī Mahārāj, Śrī Caitanya and his associates, go to the Amazon store and you can type it there. You can download the Kindle book, the Kindle version. All right, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. I'll just do a very quick Mahamantra and Jayadvani, and then we'll end. Thank you for staying till the end. There you go. Haribo, Satyamataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Bhakti, Jaya Rasikānanda, Jaya Rasikānanda, Jaya Rasikānanda, Jaya Rasikānanda, Jaya Rasikānanda, Jaya Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja, Jaya Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī, Jaya Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Swaparshara Śrīla Prabhupada, Swaparshara Śrīla Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. And Rukmini Didi is saying that there's also a comic book made out of his biography. Is that available online anywhere? If so, maybe if you could share the link for that, that would be, I can share it with everybody else. All right. Thank you so much for joining, everybody, for this extra long reading today. Jai Śrīla Gurudev, Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Gandharvika Giridhari Ki Jai, Shri, what is it, Radha Nayana Nath Ki Jai, Radha Nayana Nanda Ki Jai, what is it? Jai Shri Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai, Śrīla Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, all the associates of Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosvāmī Mahārāj Ki Jai, Śrīla Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosvāmī Mahārāj Ki Jai, Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāj Ki Jai, all the associates of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Jagannātha dāsa Bābājī Mahārāja Ki Jai, Śrī Rasikānanda Prabhu Ki Jai, Jai Swaparshad Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Abhinna Vrindavan Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Jai Shri Radha Nayana Nath Chu Ki Jai, Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashcha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavatai Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for staying till the end. And tomorrow we will continue with our reading of Śrī Caitanya Bhagavat Antyakanda. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Satyamataji. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Hari Bo. Hari Hari Baru Bhavatarani Mataji. Everybody. Rukmini Didi. Shubhananda Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Haribol. And oh my God, so many devotees on YouTube and Facebook. Haribol and Dear Mataji, Vidya Lala Siki. Haribol. Dhanavad. So many devotees. I'm not going to say everybody's name. It's too much. Thank you so much for joining. See you all tomorrow if you can join. Haribol.